Today I'm spinning some Tunis wool for wool of the week. I have my bag of wool here. I have a ton, so I'm like really glad that I have a bunch of that for some projects. I went through my raw wool bag today, and this is the last of the stuff that I have labeled, and the rest is like mystery wool. So yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with that and get some stuff blended. I'm excited to use this for blending, but it is really hard to comb. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or it's like tough to comb, and then it's really hard. I'm not even dizzing it. I'm just pulling it off into comb top, and it's difficult. I don't know if it doesn't feel like it has like a ton of lanolin in it, the natural grease, the natural oils, but it does seem to be somewhat of a long staple, and yeah, it's just like being difficult for me. So doesn't this kind of remind you of like the spider's web in Lord of the Rings? Frodo! So the first step to dyeing yarn, and it's a little bit less precise when you're only dyeing one skein of yarn, but I fill up my dye pot as much as like will cover the yarn, but I do a little bit more even when it's just one skein of yarn, because I want the yarn to, like, I don't know, have space. But I think when you're dyeing a larger quantity of yarn and you're into like the measurements, you would measure your water compared to like weight of dry material. And then to this, I am going to add some white vinegar, some wool soap, and some salt, which are going to help with uptake. And then when the water has gotten warm, I'm gonna put this on my stove on very low heat and just let it warm up for a bit and let the wool soak in it, and then it will be ready to dye. And I will make the dye, pour it in, mix it up, let it go for about an hour. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get the amount of dye right this time. But it's very imprecise when you're only dyeing one skein of yarn. Also, there's not education about this, at least not free education about this. There's like very vague information available about how to dye wool with acid dyes. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like we need to make this more mainstream. So that's my spiel. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm getting this on the stove. I put in my white vinegar, which you can get from any grocery store. I'm going to put in a tiny bit of wool soap. And this is my favorite wool soap, Soak soap. And I get it from my local fancy yarn shop, which is Over the Next Row Knits in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's my cat, Possum. And then I'm just going to add in some salt, and I'm just gonna add in pink salt because that's always what I use. I'm like, I don't even have any just regular salt, so I don't know how much, like, it's just they don't tell you how much to use. So that is how much we're going to use. I put in about 2/3 of a cup of white vinegar, and this probably maybe like a teaspoon of soap. And I'm going to go get my yarn. All right, I have finished the Tunis yarn that I hand dyed, this nice Caribbean blue, and I actually already started the end project that this is going to be for part 3 of Wool of the Week. And I needed it to continue going. But I liked this Tunis so much that I am going to do another one and dye it in a different color. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it took the color so well, and very happy with this. All right. Hi, I wanted to take a minute to give a little bit of an update on my Wool of the Week sweater. I have started knitting with the Tunis wool, the Tunis yarn that I spun, and I dyed it this nice aqua. And so you can see we're starting to form the rainbow. We've got dark purple, a little bit less dark purple, blue, light blue, and I have kind of taken the plan that, I don't know, the path of deciding I'm only gonna start with the next color that I need, that I'm knitting with, because I'm just trying to like knit as I go. And I had a horrible thought yesterday, which was, oh, you know, I'm doing so well. This is only gonna take, you know, and I don't even know how much this is only gonna take from here going on. But then I thought, oh no, how much of each color am I gonna need for the sleeves? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I could dye like an extra skein for each color. So the reason why I didn't immediately drop everything and dye 2 of this was because this color is going to end before I separate for sleeves, and then I'll need sleeve colors. So it's already going to be on the next color. So potentially what I could do is dye 2 skeins of each color, the dark green, light green, yellow, yellow, orange, red, and then I have this beautiful gray Romney, and I have this rich, dark Icelandic, and I do have a variety of lovely cream colored wools. I also have some wool that is already prepped, already washed, but it's this beautiful caramel color. And I don't know, I think what I'm gonna do, because it will take considerably more time. Well, I'm gonna have to spend it anyways. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna have to think about this for a while before I decide what I'm gonna do. But know that I have to make this decision. So I wish I could say like, guys, give me feedback, but this is all gonna be out in the same video. So yeah, but I also wanted to show off how my stitch markers match the exact color of the yarn. I absolutely love that. And then this is my hand spun hat that I finished last night. And I think it'll be really cute to wear with this sweater because it'll kind of be like dual rainbow. It's got a rainbowy theme, pastel rainbow, and this is like more saturated rainbow that'll be happening. But I'm going to keep knitting, and we've got the Christmas tree on. We've got some Christmas decorations up. We're watching an Advent knitting video, and we're just getting into the holiday season while my mom works on NaNoWriMo, and I was like, yes, I'm going to work on NaNoWriMo just as soon as I use up all this which shouldn't honestly take me that long. I did 3 colors, like, I don't think it was yesterday, but it was probably the day before. Because yesterday I did this hat. I did this hat in one day. Not the spinning, but the knitting. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. All right, I am washing some wool this morning. I have a Cotswold teeswater breed sheep cross wool fleece, and I am getting right to it and washing it in some soak soap, which is my favorite wool wash, and lavender essential oil. And we're just trying to get as much of that washed as I have room to dry. I have 3 little drying racks in my room that I use for my wool, and when it's full, I can't wash anymore because it needs a place to dry. So I'm just doing as much as I can day by day and seeing how long it takes me. But this is I'm gonna still call it day 1 because the other stuff that I washed last night hasn't dried yet. So day 1. This is my wool that is washing. It is soaking right now. It's got 14 minutes to go, and I think it's on its last wash, although it looks pretty messy, but the water is running kind of clear, so I'm thinking maybe that's kind of like the true color of it. And then when you're washing wool, you have 20 minutes to do whatever in between when it needs to soak. So I did the dishes, I unloaded the dishwasher, did the dishes, cleaned out the fridge, cleaned up the kitchen, and now I'm about to go do some laundry. All right. Just like that, my wool is washed first time, and I'm ready for the second wash. You've seen me do that move where I fluffed up the wool in between spins. That is a thing that I do. I don't know if other people do that, but for me, it just helps me open up the locks and get more of the dirt out. Helps me be able to separate, because the wool is like stuck together when you are first starting with the lanolin, the natural grease that's in the wool. It kind of sticks the fibers together, so you need to wash them, get them clean a little bit, get some of the lanolin off, then separate them a little bit manually. Hi everyone, it's Augustly. I'm prepping some fiber today. I'm also processing a little bit of raw fiber, and my small kitten just ran over here, Pluto. I got a new kitten 3 weeks ago, and she's now 3 pounds. Very sweet. But back to the fiber. So I am spinning. That's the goal. I'm going to be spinning some more of my Tunis wool that I got at the SAF Festival 2022. And so I want to use that up. It's already washed and I just need to prep it. So what I'm doing for that is I'm using my medieval torture tools, my wool combs, and if you've seen any of my videos, I have several videos where I have done this, but I'm going to show a small clip of it in this video so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And then once I have it combed out, I can spin it. And I do that on my Ashford Kiwi 3 double treadle spinning wheel. That's just a really specific term for spinning wheel. And it's actually like a modern type of spinning wheel. They have spinning wheels that are from, the 1800s, but they also, like my spinning wheel was built in 2020, so by me. So, I got the pieces. It was a kit and it comes to your house and you have to finish the wood and you, put it together and teach yourself how to spin. So we did that. Aside from that wool, there's lots of cats. So I've got my Tunis wool that I'm spinning. I have some Cotswold teeswater fleece that I am washing. So that's raw. It's just directly off the sheep. And the person mailed it to me. And now I'm washing it in a special wool soap with a special technique. And yeah. And then yesterday, I started my project, Kentucky Women of the Wool. And for that, I went down to see my friend Stephanie of Deep Dyed Yarns in Nicholasville, Kentucky. And I picked up several alpaca fleeces from an alpaca farmer woman who had passed, and they were, going through all of her stuff and getting rid of it and selling it. And so luckily these fleeces came to me, and now I am going to process them into beautiful finished products. All right, let's get to it. All right, so today I am to a stopping point on knitting the sweater that I can try it on for you all and kind of model it a little bit. I have gotten to the point where you can see here, I'll hold it by the shoulders so you can kind of tell. But this is it, and you can kind of see the bottom here is where I've stopped, and it's kind of curling up a little bit. It won't be like that when I'm done with it, but what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add a white cuff with ribbing is what they call it on Possum Bubby. No. On the bottom to where it'll look finished and nice and classy. And then, as you can see here, I've separated for the sleeves. And there's a sleeve hole. And it actually kind of looks nice as it is, but that wasn't the original plan. And I would like to stick with the original plan, which is to do like a balloon bell sleeve here at the cuff, and then to do a little white cuff. So that's what I'm gonna do. And that's the next step, because I still have to spin the white yarn for the cuffs on the sleeves and the body. And I have the perfect wool for that. So what I'm gonna do now is I am going to put my circular needles, I'm gonna put my stitches onto my circular needles and get knitting. I'm just like giddy about this. Like, I'm so ready to wear this sweater. I've been working on it since October. It is currently early February, and it's time for me to wear this sweater, man. Like, I'm so ready. And my other sweater did take a while, but it only took, I'm gonna say, a month. And I didn't work on it that long any of the times that I did. So it probably didn't take that long. But the difference with this sweater is that the yarn was already made, and this, I went from raw sheep fluff that was dirty and greasy. I washed it, I prepped it, I spun it, I dyed it, I wound it into a yarn ball, and I knitted with it. So it's a lot more work that's gone into this, but I think it's going to be a lot more worth it. And also the pattern's going to like be like a useful pattern. So yeah. I just spun up this alpaca and Cotswold teeswater cross blend yarn, and now I am out of prepared fiber, and I'm going to go prep some more to spin the second ply, and then I'll be plying, and then I can finally finish parts of my sweater that I've been working on. And not traditionally, but like if you're doing things the right way, you would finish your yarn first. But we're going for a garment, and we want to finish that garment. So no finishing yarn. So today we're going to close out the Wool of the Week project. yesterday I finished knitting the sweater. It has been a long process. I have been working on this project since October of 2023, and it is now mid-February 2024. A lot has happened since we started. I got a new kitten. I have had some wonderful time spent with family and friends, and I have grown my business a lot. I have grown my blog a lot. I wrote my 100th blog. I have published several YouTube videos in the time since, and I have grown my Instagram. But all of that comes second to the feeling of putting on such a project that I have worked so long to complete. It is the best feeling to look at something that you have put your soul into and to know that you did that almost every single step of the process. I did on this sweater, the Wool of the Week sweater. I hope you have enjoyed me documenting it. And I did want to highlight some of the rest of the project. I last left you where I was putting on the first sleeve. I completed the first sleeve to the cuff, and then I got to spin up a last yarn. If you haven't noticed by now, my sweater is a rainbow sweater, and I wanted to finish the cuff with white. I had spun several neutral toned yarns to include in this project. If you've been following along with me on my blog, I have been doing the breed study and studying the breeds from my Fleece and Fiber source book. And there's still just a few breeds that I need to highlight left, because I did, during the holidays, decide to pause the blogs on that. And just to continue working on the sweater and focus my energies on that. So I put on the needle for the first sleeve. I did the rainbow colors, and I ended with white. And for that, I spun some of the Wensleydale that I highlighted for this project. I did a whole yarn that was Wensleydale. Wait, no, this is not what I did. Sorry, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been spinning so much lately that my brain is like, what am I doing here? I washed up some Cotswold teeswater cross breed sheep wool locks. Beautiful, beautiful locks. I combed those up with my wool combs and got them a little bit fluffed out and straightened out and less felted, because locks tend to felt a little bit. And then I blended that with some alpaca that I got for the Kentucky Women of the Wool series. I washed this from raw, and I washed the Cotswold teeswater cross from raw. I blended them with my wool combs, and I spun those up. I did learn a little bit more about processing with second cuts when I was spinning. So, that's a lesson. But I finished the cuffs. I finished the second arm and the cuff, and I finished the cuff on the bottom of the sweater. I did a little rib stitch on the cuff, but other than that, the entire sweater was in stockinette. And I guess now you'd like to see the sweater, huh? I'll go ahead and model it for you. This project was a dream project for me, and I was impressed with myself. I'll have to admit that this was my second sweater. My first sweater was a test knit of this in acrylic, and boy did I need it. The second sweater ended up exactly how I wanted it to, exactly how I had imagined it, and I am so happy with the results. I wanted to talk a little bit about the breeds that I included. I just wanted to give a quick list of them. I included in this project Gulf Coast Native, Merino, Suffolk, Tunis, Wensleydale, polwarth, California Red, Radnor, Blueface Leicester, Falkland, ramboulliet, Shropshire, Whiteface Woodland, and I'm trying to make sure I got everything. Alpaca, blended with Cotswold, teeswater, cross, breed, sheep wool. This concludes the Wool of the Week project. Thank you so much for following along with me. It has meant so much to me, all of your support, and I am so pleased to be able to put together this video and document my process. Thank you so much. Bye.